Welcome to episode 146 of the Muck Podcast, a member of the Odd Pods Media Network. Listen in as we discuss the dark and sometimes weird true stories in American politics. I'm Tina Jaramillo.
And I'm Hillary Doherty.
Hillary, look at us.
Happy Halloween! Almost Halloween.
Almost. This is Halloween.
So
this is Halloween.
this is like the only thing I bought for this year's Halloween is the wig, because this is not even my Halloween costume this year. This is just part of my Halloween. I already had this. I bought this NASA outfit because Phoebe Bridgers wore one.
Oh.
On Jimmy Kimmel. I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, and I was like,
so cute.
I need to buy one of those.
It's adorable. And I love the space ears.
I'm an alien. Do you want to know my backstory to my costume? Okay, because she's an original character. Here's my character.
Okay.
I'm from the planet whatever up your ass, planet X, and I boarded the U.S. space station.
Oh.
And all of the U.S. astronauts were like obsessed with me.
Of course.
I'm so hot. And I told them, I'm like, my vagina could kill you. Like, don't do it. It's alien vagina, and your human penis can't handle it.
And
they couldn't help themselves, so they all died.
And then
I stole
a man eater.
And then I stole their clothes.
I love it.
That's my backstory.
I love it.
Should I tell that one when I go trick or treating with the kids?
Oh, why not? They might like it. People might like it. There's going to be some parents.
Trick or treat. I kill men with my vagina. They're like, "Who are you?"
I'm a man eater.
My vagina is poisonous.
Oh, there's a whole mythology about that.
What do you think?
Yeah, I love it.
All right, good. What's your costume?
Oh, me? I'm just,
She looks really cute. We should stand up and show our whole outfit.
Wait. My whole cape is crazy.
It's turned, yeah.
Okay, so
there you go.
Yeah, I have a cape and a wig.
Yeah, that's your costume.
And a tutu.
And it's cute.
And I'm a witch.
Yeah,
I'm
adorable.
Inspired by that little witch on Bugs Bunny that would be like.
Yeah. She's my favorite witch ever.
She's so funny, but that's
so
just
funny.
what I think of with this wig.
It's so good. It's so good.
Because she has a little hat too. I don't know her name, but if she's like, ooh,
yeah. She's doing this thing with her hands that you can't see. It's so good. Oh man.
Oh my God.
We had the best cartoons when we were kids.
What was her name?
Oh God, Esmeralda or something like that. Maybe
something like that.
Oh my God, I fucking
That's who I'm
love
channeling.
It. Yeah.
So.
Well, I try to channel her every day in my real life.
Ooh,
burn those motherfuckers.
Witchy witch.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I need to know this, and I've asked this question several fucking times. Why can't we get an answer on who is in Ireland and Germany? They are now rivaling each other on the downloads, and we're talking about 20, 30, 40 downloads an episode. Why? Who?
Hi.
Where are you?
Hi.
Who are you?
Send us an email.
Are you just downloading it and letting it sit on your phone? Do you not hear us asking a question?
Yes, please.
Who are you? What are you doing?
Are you?
Really? This
you?
This is what you're listening to? Why? What is going on?
I love it.
I mean, I love it. I get
think-
it. We're so
I
fucking
think
funny.
with
Everybody should
Germany-
listen. But also, what are you doing?
I think Germany has to be like U.S. bases. Or maybe
think so?
not. Maybe it's just Germans who love
I
us.
am every time I'm like, how in the fuck? It's a lot of people.
It is. Ireland. I can't do the Ireland accent.
That's why they're not telling us. Then I say this, I do an Irish accent, and they're like, fuck that girl. They're like, I'm not telling you.
Oh my God.
Here's another news story that I find so fascinating that I read about. The rise in vasectomies and women having their tubes tied in Texas is on the rise. Because people are so afraid of getting pregnant there and not being able to have an abortion. And they're talking about people who are like, well, in their 20s. Who are like, well, we really don't want to have kids. And they go and do this thing in their 20s, which I find, I honestly don't know.
Tied at 20, because that's hard to reverse. Like, a vasectomy
Absolutely.
is easier to reverse. But I get it on women, not wanting to...
risk it.
Trust,
And I feel awful, and I hate saying oh, well, you never know how you'll feel later, because that's true. People in their 30s can change their minds, or whatever, 40s, whenever they want to have children. But still, Here's the thing that is really, happening is that these aren't Christian people doing this. These are not the folks who are going to have 5 or 6 babies,
right,
or whatever. These are liberals, right? Who would raise kids to also be liberals, right?
So you're saying like now we're going to have like sort of a handmaids.
Yeah, we're going to have
a decrease in population, and then the people who are just having a ton of babies are going to
and raising their kids MAGA. Am I crazy?
No, I mean it's a possibility.
They'll have a TikTok with all their super white children in khaki clothes and baby blues.
It sounds like a nightmare.
You know what I mean? You know those TikToks? They're the best. They're all like dancing, and the mom turns and she's pregnant again. You know?
Lady, take a break.
Take a break.
Oh my God.
That was her vagina singing. She was like, take a break.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Take a break. It's too much.
It is. But
the other thing that, and I think we talked about this on here too, is the enrollment in universities in states like Florida and Texas and these other, because what kids from out of state want to come, even like men from out of state who might apply to these colleges, like they don't want to worry about that either. But a lot of girls are going to have issues of coming to a state where they know that they can't access healthcare.
Right.
Why would they come here? Like, they're not thinking of any future ramifications of this. And I hope it hurts enrollment. I hope that these schools suffer and start putting pressure. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
I just looked at the camera and realized that they can't see my my dangly. I'm an alien.
I love those.
What is this?
It's so cute. Do you want me to push it back?
No.
You can see. I love it.
Do you remember these when we were kids?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love those things. So many fun things when we were kids that would keep us busy. We didn't have video games. We didn't have that.
Yeah, I mean, we had Atari, but...
Oh, please, I didn't even have Atari. Another thing as far as abortion goes, because that's my jam and that's what I'm gonna talk about, is ever since this Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, the effects, this was an article in the New York Times, the effects it's had on other countries where America, they have money comes there from America for medical purposes. There was one, I believe it was Ghana, there was one clinic where women and girls could go and have an abortion where it's legal. Right. It's legal in the country. Oh, it's not Ghana. I'm totally going to throw it. I'm going to blow it. But it's one of those countries. I'm so sorry. Where they get money, and now that's going to stop. And they can't fund those clinics if they're going to perform those things because they're afraid that they're going to these foundations in America can't. It's now against the law to do that. So women in third world countries are also, and girls are also being affected by this. It's not just American women.
Well, and plus also, I would imagine that where people turn to America sometimes as like democratic and like, and maybe using Roe v. Wade as a way to push forward in their country to change laws.
Right.
Like now.
No, we're going to be looking at other countries. Yeah. We're trying to turn this thing back around. We got to look at Ireland. God bless you and our listeners there.
Oh my God.
Mexico.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
It's just, and I know, like, and this is the problem, I guess, of indoctrination, is that, I grew up just like, this is America. Mm-hmm. This is America. This is the land of the free, and I'm shocked that we are behind other countries, but that's that ego of Americanism, what I mean? That we've been brainwashed with. Like, it's very hard for me to wrap my head around, like, how is this happening in America?
I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, I saw this great clip. And again, I don't know who the guy was, but he wrote a book and it sounds amazing. It's on our Twitter, on the Muck Podcast Twitter, at Muck Podcast. And he talks about the rise of all of this, right? The rise of wanting to overturn Roe v. Wade and all of those things. And he was saying that it seems like a lot right now because we have been so progressive. We've made huge leaps and bounds when it comes to so many progressive things. And so the only reaction is to push back on it. And so we should really focus on, we have made progress. And of course, someone's going to rise up and push back. But that doesn't mean that our progress is over. It just means we have to continue to fight and not give up and make the changes again. And also,
exhausting.
Whatever back road they're trying to, or some alley they're trying to come through with a law to stop something from happening, we're not going to be prepared because we know what to do. There was a federal judge in Orlando yesterday denied the overturning of the Don't Say Gay bill. And so I'm reading the article this morning, and it says, so the woman's name, the judge, appointed by Trump, right?
Surprise!
Yeah. So that the first thing I thought is like, who put her there? And Trump did. So what the article said is the people who the parents, you know, gay children who put this thing up, the lawsuit, they're going to go back and rework it, right? They're going to go back and see, they're going to read what the judge said, and they're going to go, okay, here's the things we need to change to get this thing overturned. And they're going to keep coming, and they're going to keep fighting against it, which is what we need them to do.
The other lawsuit, did you hear that one of the people who was arrested for the voter fraud, the returning felon who was duped into registering to vote and voting, those were dismissed from one of the people because like the whole part of that law is knowingly doing this, and that piece wasn't there because there was a person who helped that person register to vote, didn't offer any of the information. And so all of those, are going to be probably overturned.
20 people.
It's ridiculous.
And it's all and the videos came out. Tampa Bay Times got the videos from the police cams of them arresting these folks.
Yeah, they're like,
and even the cops are like,
I don't know.
Yeah, even the cops are like, here's what's happening, and that's what they sound like. They're like, listen, you voted and you weren't supposed to, and it's a felony. It usually is $1,000 bond, but they dropped it down to $500. And this one guy had 2 counts, and they go, so it's going to be $1,000, and he's like, $1,000? I don't have $1,000. Like, and the cops are so annoyed that they're even doing this.
They have other things to do.
Yeah, and it came out. This whole video came out, and
they have other things to do.
It burned all over the internet, and every time it was brought up, every article that was written, they showed a picture of the press conference that he had at the Broward County Courthouse
with our buddy,
with Chip LaMarca next to him.
Yeah, hi Chip.
Who, by the way, who stood by that press conference in his Sun Sentinel endorsement interview, and he said, "Well, I was told it was about election security." So I retweeted that story, and I was like, "Are you still standing by election security? This is all for a photo op, so you can have so you can stand next to the governor." And now every article that's talking about how bad it is, all those videos that are showing, his face is next to DeSantis.
I love it. I saw that.
You stupid idiot.
Yeah. No, good. I'm glad that he
all together. I'm gonna have a picture with the governor with my fucking small hands. Sorry, Tina.
But pretend the thing is like to pretend like you didn't know, like that is your job.
Yeah, find out.
That is your job to find out before you put information or stand next to someone. That's your job. You can't act like a regular Joe Schmo can be like, "Oh, I didn't know it was about that." But you're an elected official. You're an elected official. This is your one job.
And also, it's not like it's any other governor. It's a governor asking you to stand next to him at a press conference who's known for stunts.
Yeah.
For pulling stunts and
You're
for saying the craziest shit ever that's later found out is not true at all. Yeah. He drops fucking shitty things, and you're behind him going, "How much more can you give me, Mr. Governor?"
Yeah, ew.
It's pathetic.
It is.
It's pathetic. And it's a bad power grab, and somebody on your staff dropped the fucking ball, bro.
Good, let him. I'm happy.
Me too.
Let this be another nail in the coffin before we get you out of this seat.
Ooh, honey, turning on this alien.
Ooh.
The last thing I want to say, because I don't think anybody's talking about it, and they really should be, is there was an article this week in the Sun Sentinel. 6 Florida lawmakers, all Republican, including Chris Sprouls, who was the former House Speaker in this last session, and Wilton Simpson, who was the President of the Senate in the last session, who's running for agricultural commissioner. Yeah. Those among 4 other electeds and some office staff are fighting in court to not be personally held accountable or have to testify in the court case about the redistricting that was completely fucking illegal.
Oh,
they are fighting to not be involved or pulled into this lawsuit.
But they voted.
They voted. They created it.
Sorry.
Those 2, Sprouls and Simpson, handed DeSantis the map. Yeah. Remember that and said, just tell us what you want us to do. Completely fucking illegal. Yeah. Because there's separation of powers there. And it's all illegal. And they all talked about it openly. Yeah. How bad, this was so bad. And they don't want to be involved in the lawsuit.
Now they don't want to get in trouble.
Now they're like this, not me.
Yeah.
No, you.
Their tail between their legs.
Yeah, there's consequences to your actions.
Why do people think they can do illegal things and not be called on it.
No.
But then somebody who voted,
yeah,
you know, and legitimately had no clue, like we're gonna, you know, come down on them and make them seem like they're these horrible people when you're the horrible people.
Yeah.
Like, the law works both ways. Like, you don't just get to dictate the law and then not face repercussions from the law. It doesn't make any sense. But that's a dictatorship, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And all of those people that are involved in that lawsuit were henchmen for King DeSantis. That's what they were. All they did was his bidding. And that redistricting was one of the worst things that they've done. To disenfranchise black voters, especially in North Florida where they don't have a lot of representation already, and to take that away from them and cut up those districts in a way that they had less power is so insane to me. And that's why they're going to get in trouble. We have laws on the books for that.
Please.
It's illegal. This is Jim Crow shit, motherfucker. This is 2022. You can't do stuff like that and walk away and think you're going to be okay.
But they think that they can because...
Well, I hope a court does not allow that.
I've been thinking about this whole, like, because I'm always like, God, Republicans, they always fall in line. They always have a plan. Democrats are floating around. But it's not even that they fall in line. It's that the one Republican that is, like, you know, the loudest, smuggest, grossest of them somehow manages to get people to lick their boots.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, these aren't, you know, all the people that fall in line, like, you guys are weak.
Yeah.
You're weak.
Weak-ass bitches.
Sad.
Yeah.
Men.
Yeah.
Who can't stand up for yourselves.
Nope.
And it's...
or have no... They think that they can't get reelected without this guy.
Yeah.
Which maybe
you probably
is possibly
can.
true. Look, Wilton Simpson, running for agricultural commissioner, had a candidate that DeSantis put against him who was super crazy.
But he'll still kiss DeSantis' ass.
And Simpson's in the Senate, and DeSantis is going, do you want this position? Do you want to be elected commissioner? Here's all the fucking things I want you to do. And Simpson did all of them. Yeah. He bent the knee.
Well, yeah.
Right?
It's gross.
And then as soon as the session was over, DeSantis told that other candidate, he put in there, the other Republican, and said, get out of the race, because he got everything he wanted from Simpson, and the guy bowed out. So now Simpson's the only Republican candidate. That's how much power, and by the way, it's fucking wild, crazy, but the Democrats should be doing that. The Democrats should be doing that.
We should be doing something.
Yeah. If you don't vote for gay rights, for women's rights, we are going to run someone against you.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck? Anyway. That's all I got.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, the only other fun thing, and it's only 4 months, but it still made me happy that Bannon is going to go to jail.
Yeah, bye, bitch.
I know.
I'm sure he loves it.
I wish
it's
it
good
was
for his ratings,
years.
you know?
I wish it was 4 years.
Yeah,
I wish it was 40 years, but... All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Orville Enoch Hodge.
Oh my God. Those are 3 names in one name.
Oh, yeah. So Orville Hodge served as Illinois Auditor of Public Accounts after winning election in 1952. But when he lined his pockets instead of balancing the books,
good Lord,
it cost him big time.
What are these guys going to learn? When are they going to learn? 1952.
1952. So our story takes place in Illinois, and from the little I found on his background, Hodge was born in 1908 in Granite City, Illinois, which is in Madison County, and it has about 30,000 people. And to me, that's like a small city, but is that considered mid-size? I don't know. It's still small. 30,000, like compared to like where we live.
Yeah.
Broward County.
I think it's a small town. I feel like that's small.
So, and Sam Dunklau of Illinois Public Radio notes that Hodge was very well liked. He was a people person, and his dad had this business it was called the Hodge Agency, and it was a real estate insurance company, and the Chicago Tribune noted that he also owned farms in Madison County. So he took over his dad's like real estate property business. And then I think it also did like some kind of like home insurance stuff. And then he had lands that he bought. So he was pretty successful financially.
Okay.
I just want to make note of that. It wasn't like he was desperate for cash. So, and Dunklau also notes that he was once referred to as the golden boy of the Illinois GOP. His nickname was Good Ol' Orv. And the Chicago Tribune reported that he first got involved in politics around 1936 And in 1946, he ran and won a House seat.
Mm.
Then in 1952, he ran and won for the Auditor seat, which is like the state treasurer, right?
Right.
So here's the major incident. He's an auditor, so it will be no surprise that he swindled some money. So this story I liked because the amount of money that he swindled, I was like, wow, in 1952, it was a lot of money. So according to Illinois Public Radio's Sam Dunklau, between his election in 1952 until he got busted in 1956, Hodge took about $6 million.
Hold on. Shut the fuck up.
$6 million, equivalent to $65 million today.
What the
That's
fuck?
how it was like a huge amount.
I don't even understand this.
Yeah.
How does he do this?
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you. How did he pull this off?
This is insane. That's a lot of money to be. It was within 4 years?
Yeah.
I mean, how did people not notice?
Well,
you know what I mean? $6 million?
I know. Well, the big thing was because he was the auditor.
He could cover everything.
He was the only. He was the top.
That's the
and
problem.
he was the only one who had access.
Never, never, ever. Always
that was
have
the
two
biggest.
set of eyes.
Yeah, that was the biggest
shit.
issue. So part of the problem was, like I said, that everything financial went through Hodge and only through Hodge.
Yeah.
No one double checked or looked into the funds since he was the top dog there. He would write himself checks, and often, it would just be checks out named to himself, and he would cash it.
And he's good old Orv, so nobody's suspecting.
And he's been around politics for a while. Everybody loves him.
Good family.
He's well-to-do.
Yeah, nobody would ever think.
So Dunklau further reported that he would give...
he's white.
Yeah, he would give folks jobs and basically fudge the financial reports so no one was the wiser.
Dang.
And a Chicagoist article by Samantha Abernathy offered some interesting insight into the case as well. So she reported that he requested at one time a $2.5 million budget, which was more than what past auditors had requested or needed.
Okay, for his office.
Right,
okay.
But he had... And the other thing is he had taken so much money and he mishandled the funds so badly that he had to go to the state government and ask for a bailout.
Oh my gosh.
Of over $500,000 in emergency funds. And that's when people were like, what's going on?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
he went nuts with it.
Yeah. So Abernathy noted he had embezzled $1 million from fake checks, $500,000 in misappropriated funds, another $1 million just taken from like taxpayer money and more.
Oh.
Time Magazine reported that he took about $200,000 worth of checks where he put people's names on the checks and then cashed those checks. But then when those people were asked like, hey, where's this money? They were like, I don't even know what that is. I never got a check.
Whoa.
So he was putting people's names on it and signing their names.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He was just like forging and taking all this money.
Wow.
So the way he got busted was an anonymous tip was sent to an investigative reporter.
Who could that be?
That reporter, George Thiem of the Chicago Daily News, like starts digging in and like he publishes this entire expose, which then gets everybody involved, and that reporter won the Pulitzer Prize for his work on like exposing Hodge.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So my favorite part: how did he spend the money?
Oh yes.
So he had a big fancy house that he remodeled, and it was a house that like in Chicago like overlooked the lake. And everything.
God, beautiful.
He had 2 planes. He had 4 cars, including a Lincoln, a Cadillac, and a Rolls Royce.
Excuse me?
He had 2 separate hotel suites in Chi-Town that were like fully decked out, like furnished.
What's he doing in there? Fucking?
Who knows?
What is this?
Who knows? He had an apartment in Fort Lottie, baby.
Ooh, hi.
Of course he did.
Did the water? Did sewage come up in the water?
Yeah. He had a $5,000 bar tab at like some restaurant where he just took people out. So he had 54 counts against him that included embezzlement, bank fraud, conspiracy to defraud, and forgery.
Here's the thing. Hold on.
Yeah.
If you're fucking getting this much money, like you know how he said he mismanaged everything.
Yeah.
Would you be buying 2 planes? Would you be buying Rolls Royce? Would you be having would you have an apartment and 2 suites and this? What are you?
I think
you've
people
gone
thought,
nuts.
I think
though
that people thought he owns all this land and like his
no
business.
Way.
I know.
No way. You've got to keep it on the DL.
Yeah, no, he did not.
You know,
clearly.
that way you can live the rest of you can retire and live the rest of your life and like dip and then take that money.
Yeah, take the money and run.
I'm not making a plan here. I'm just saying, like, this is not the way you do it. Just like the mom. Don't buy a fur coat. Don't buy a pink Cadillac. What do you do?
He did all the wrong things.
He did all the wrong things. He brought too much attention to himself.
He did. So he ends up resigning in August of 1956, and that was at the governor's request, because at first he wasn't resigning. And then he pleaded guilty. So he was sentenced to, it was a 10 to 12 year prison term. He served 6.5 of those years, which I feel like for $65 million.
Right, it's something.
And he was also ordered. Yeah, he was also ordered to pay restitution. Okay. And Dick Lamveld reported that he did pay about $528,000 back immediately, like when all this happened. Like, and he's like, I'll give the money back, and here's some of the money. And then he was ordered to sell his assets and the cars and the house and whatnot to pay more back. Commenting on his arrest, Time magazine reported that Hodge stated, "I just don't know why I did it. I didn't need the money."
Dang,
this is like last week. It's just like I could do it, so I did it. Yeah, he must have done it just once, and then was like, and kept going. It's the amount is just astonishing. So the aftermath, the biggest change that the scandal led to was the separation of the position. So after Hodge's sentencing, lawmakers got to work, and really it wasn't until 1970 where they rewrote the state constitution. And according to an Illinois Public Radio report, the position of Auditor of Public Accounts was split into comptroller and treasurer. So now you have this checks and balances of two people, and it's not just one, and one person kind of handling the checks, the other person handling other stuff. I don't know how it works because I'm not a money person. Yeah. So some points of interest. After his arrest, painters were painting over his name in a Republican billboard. So the newspaper was like, they're covering his name right up. They just immediately, the party was like, nope, we got to erase every trace of him. Good. When he was released from prison, he had $81 to his name. Wow. Yeah. He ended up working at his sister's hardware store. Then he sold cars, and then he went to selling real estate. Wow. Another report that was interesting by Langveld is that the total was in the millions, with most reports noting it was close to $6 million, and some saying it was over $1 million. But in the end, he was charged with returning $650,000. Okay. And they kept saying they would try to interview him, and he was like, what? No, $650,000. That's what the court said. That's all it was. That's what the court said. We know it was more than that. Yeah. He just was like, nope, that's all it was. So he never copped to more. And then one sort of sad bit of news from this was, and this was from the State Journal Register, one of his employees at the time, H. Kendall Olds, he was sent to cash a check, because what Hodge would do is he would give people checks and say, go to the bank, cash this check. Now, the guy at the bank, one of the bank presidents, kind of knew what was going on. Maybe but, he's the tipster. He didn't, say anything. He ended up, losing his job, getting fired, and everything, because he knew, these checks would come in, and it would be well, here's an envelope for Hodge, and here, he kind of, participated. Holy shit. But other people were just Hodge would be go to the bank, do this, come back, right? So this guy was one of those guys. He wasn't involved in it. But unknowingly. He didn't do anything wrong. And he didn't know what Hodge was up to. But when everything broke, he was so worried that he would be in trouble. No. And he ended up, he took his own life. Tina! Yeah, that to me is, the worst thing in this story, that he's responsible for this other person, because the other guy was so upset about the whole thing and how he might be blamed. Oh no! Yeah, isn't that awful? Yes. So, dude, wait and find out. I know. Wait and find out. Wait to see. But I get it. At the time, it's probably all over the news, and people are talking, and you know what I mean. So that's the story of the state auditor swindler, Orville Hodge. I know, it ends on a sad note, because I saw that and I was like, what a jerk this Hodge is. It wouldn't be a Tina story if we weren't sad. There wasn't something depressing. Sorry. She's not here to give you the good news, folks. No. Oh God, who does that? Is that the Jehovah's Witnesses? What's the good news? Yeah, isn't that what they say? I think it is. Oh, what is their good news? My dad was raised Jehovah's Witness. Isn't that weird? I didn't know that. Yeah, we never really talked about it, but yeah. Wait, but weren't raised that way? No, I was raised Catholic, honey. That's why I'm so fucked up. Amongst other reasons.
Okay, are you ready?
I am.
Because my story is aliens. It's aliens.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I figured I was dressing an alien.
Yes.
Maybe I should do an alien story.
You should absolutely do an alien story.
All right. So today I am covering the 1947 flying disc craze.
Oh, like Roswell and all
Yes.
that?
So I started out covering Roswell, and then it kept talking about this craze, and I was like, what in the motherfucker? So I went back and did the whole thing, but Roswell's kind of the end of it, but still. Okay, so the 1940s. Yeah.
You know, so yesterday, my son was like, you know, it's Back to the Future Day. And I was like, what?
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, this is the day that he went back, October, whatever.
21st. Yeah.
And he's like, so we have to watch the movie. So we watched the movie again last night.
Oh,
And it's the funniest part is when he lands in the barn and the kid's there with the comic.
Yeah, he thinks it's an alien.
Yeah. So like, and that was like 1950 something. You know, so at this time, like people were really legitimately.
It was a crazy time.
You know, thinking about
looking
like,
in the stars, like whatever.
Yeah.
Also, can we just say that Back to the Future has got to be one of the most perfect movies ever.
It's so good.
There's nothing in that movie, the first movie that should ever, you know.
Oh no, it's funny, like,
and
there's so many funny lines in it. Like I couldn't stop laughing.
Oh my! It's just everything. The acting is perfect. The screenwriting,
and all
the story,
the details. Like when when it opens up on the mall and it's like Twin Pines Mall.
Yeah, no,
and like,
it's so it brings you back, right?
Yes.
Also, there's a great documentary that your son would probably like. You should watch with him. It was on the anniversary, like the 25th or 30th anniversary a few years ago, and it's a documentary all about it with people who like love this movie and the actors are in it and everything. Aww. It's so good. But they talk about how the fans are like they should have never made 2 or 3 because it ruined this. Yeah. Like why would you have to improve on one of the most perfect movies ever?
Because people want to make money.
I feel the same way about Jaws. Jaws also like
why?
My God. Those sequels are awful.
Jaws like 4. Well now it's like
my son gets so mad about this. He's like, oh yeah, the shark's following the mother down to the Jamaica.
It's so
okay,
stupid.
good.
But
it's so good.
But every time I watch it though, I'm like, poor Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, you know,
every
they were
time
just,
it makes me sad because like he was like the golden boy, you know.
But you know what? He was on a recent episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes,
and he was mocking the shaking.
Yes,
and he was above Larry David, like in an apartment building, and Larry David he's just walking like stomping, and he blamed it on his I'm sorry, I forgot what he had. Parkinson's. And Larry David's like, are you sure that that's what it is? And he was like, yeah, Larry. And he took a soda and he went like this and he handed it to Larry. He's like, it's the Parkinson's. It was such a funny. Yeah. He had such a great sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I just remember when that whole thing first happened and he had to like quit work and because he was like one of those guys back in the day that was on like every sitcom. You know, like he was like.
And you know what else?
The TV guy.
He also seems like a really nice person.
He does.
Like he seems really, really nice.
Yeah. Fuck. And he's got that like young boy. You know, like he's got this like he's
still married to that same woman, the actress that he met on Family Ties.
Oh my God, I forgot about Family Ties.
Fucking love that show, dude. All right, anyway.
Okay.
Fucking God bless you, Michael J. Fox.
Yes.
God bless.
Oh.
Okay, so 1947 flying disc craze was a rash of unidentified flying object reports that were publicized in the summer of 1947. The craze began on June 24th when media nationwide reported civilian pilot Kenneth Arnold's story of witnessing disc-shaped objects, which headline writers dubbed flying saucers. And so we're going to talk about what he saw.
Ooh.
Okay. Such reports quickly spread throughout the United States. Historians would later chronicle at least 800 copycat reports in subsequent weeks, while other sources estimate that reports may have numbered in the thousands. Jeez. And they peaked around July 7th, 1947.
In a month?
Yeah. After numerous hoaxes and mistaken identifications, the disc reports largely subsided by July 10th. So it was only this little time period. Mainstream sources speculated that the disc reports were caused by novel technology, mistaken identifications, and mass hysteria. In contrast, fringe speculation held that the discs might come from other planets or other dimensions. Still others... That's what I believe. Still others suggested the discs were occult or might signify the end of the world.
The rapture is coming.
The end of the world. Ooh. The 1947 craze has been extensively studied within the frameworks of both folklore studies and religious studies, where it is regarded by scholars as the, quote, birth of a modern myth, end quote.
Oh.
Which I kind of love.
I like that.
Yeah. The 1947 was marked by renewed... Okay, so here's another thing that's going on, which is kind of underlying in all this, which I think also adds to like this fear that's going on, is 1947 was marked by renewed tensions between the Soviet Union and the United States.
Oh, the Cold War.
Yeah. On March 13th, American President Harry Truman pledged to contain the communist uprisings in Greece and Turkey. And the summer of 1947 featured widespread publications about atomic energy and war. On June 27th, retired Supreme Court Justice Owen Roberts warned the U.S. was headed, quote, down the old familiar road of appeasement towards an all-out shooting World War III, end quote. So it's this fears coming,
right. And nuclear war.
The bomb, Russia, and then all of a sudden this report comes out about this pilot seeing these things, and they're like, what? They're coming for us, right? Everybody's coming for us. It's kind of fun.
I like it.
Yeah. So let's get into Mr. Kenneth Arnold and what he saw that kicked off this whole craze.
So he's a pilot. So
he's a pilot. He's like a normal person. That's the reason why this story kind of like took off, because he was just like, and he never changed his story. He was so adamant about like, this is what I saw. He was very accurate. He was like, and he wasn't like.
And was he like an airline pilot, like driving like flying a jet like with passengers, or was he like a guy that was like, I was flying my 2-seater?
Yeah, yes,
whatever.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so just a regular dude that likes to fly.
But we have corroboration. There's other people that were in the area that saw the same thing, but he was the first one who like reported this, and the other people
I want to hear. What did he see?
Okay. So on June 24th, 1947, Arnold was flying from Chehalis, Washington to Yakima, Washington in a Call Air A2 on a business trip. So a small plane that he had. He made a brief detour after learning of a $5,000 reward for the discovery of a U.S. Marine Corps C-46 transport airplane that had crashed near Mount Rainier.
Oh, so he's like, let me see if I can find this plane.
He's flying around, right? Which is incredible to me that someone can fly a plane like that. I mean, could you imagine? I have never had the desire ever to like learn how to fly a plane. So fuck this.
I went once. I gotta tell you, I don't even remember who this kid was. It was a guy that I was like going to school with. We were friends, but like kind of friends. And he was like, "Oh, I'm learning to get my pilot's license. Like, do you wanna fly?" I was like, "Oh, that sounds fun." And so we went to the little airport. And I got in like a 2-seater and flew over everything. And it was like it was so scary, but it was like cool. And I was like, thanks, man. And then like, that was it.
I would never have done that.
Yeah, I was like, let's do it.
You're so much of a risk taker.
I know. What's wrong with me? No. I wouldn't do it now.
Yeah, but you have good stories because you did all of these cool things. I don't have a story like that. My brother's jumping out of planes. My brother's like does all the skydiving stuff.
That's amazing. I would be afraid to do that. I would do a tandem, I think.
Oh, when you're with somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I would be screaming the whole time.
Yeah, me too. But that would be like,
no,
I don't know. Can my heart handle it now that I'm older?
Every time I even go on a plane, I'm like, is this the one that's gonna go?
I'm always nervous. I'm more nervous on like like a jetliner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's on his plane.
So he's in the plane. He's going to go look to see if he can see anything. The skies were completely clear, and he had said it was a mild wind, right? So not anything crazy. A few minutes before 3 p.m., at about 9,200 feet in altitude and near Mineral, Washington, he gave up his search and started heading eastward back towards Yakima.
Okay.
He saw a bright flashing light, similar to sunlight, reflecting from a mirror. Afraid he might be dangerously close to another aircraft, Arnold scanned the skies around him, but all he could see was a DC-4 to his left and behind him about 15 miles away, which is another little plane. About 30 seconds after seeing the first flash of light, Arnold saw a series of bright flashes in the distance off to his left or north of Mount Rainier, which was then from 20 to 25 miles away. He thought they might be reflections on his airplane's windows, but a few quick tests where he rocked his airplane from side to side, he removed his eyeglasses, later rolling down his side window, ruled all of this out.
Okay, so he's like, let me logically try to figure out what's happening.
Maybe it's something else.
Yeah.
And then he said that he knew the reflections were coming from flying objects, right? Because all these things...
Yeah.
Okay. They flew this is him describing it. They flew in a long chain, and Arnold for a moment considered they might be a flock of geese, but quickly ruled this out for a number of reasons, including the altitude, bright glint, and obviously very fast speed.
Wow.
He then thought they might be a new type of jet and started looking intently for a tail and was surprised that he couldn't find any. They quickly approached Rainier and then passed in front, usually appearing dark in profile against the bright white snow field covering Rainier, but occasionally still giving off bright light flashes as they flipped around erratically.
This sounds like what that Navy guy saw.
Yes!
Yeah.
Sometimes he said he could see them on edge when they seemed so thin and flat they were practically invisible. Bruh.
I've never heard this story.
Come on. Arnold described them as a series of objects with convex shapes, though he later revealed that one object differed by being crescent shaped, right? So they all seem to be the same shape, but then one of them was shaped like a half moon, right?
Oh, that's creepy.
It's totally creepy. It's totally fucking creepy.
Now I'm scared.
There's aliens.
Don't take me in.
Several years later, meanwhile, I'm like, take me.
No,
the risk taker's like, I'll stay. And I'm like,
I'll stay.
Okay, let's see
or
what
unless
happens.
you take me and like my kids. You know what I mean? Like, true. It's a package deal.
Yeah. Such a mother. I was such an Italian mother. All right, you can take me, but you also have to take my kids. All right, let's go. All right, so Arnold, several years later, Arnold would state he likened their movement to saucers skipping on water, without comparing their actual shapes to saucers, but initial quotes from him do indeed have him comparing the shape to a saucer, a disc, a pie pan, or half moon, are generally convex and thin. Arnold also said he realized the objects would have to be quite large to see any details at that distance, and later, after comparing notes with a United Airlines crew that had a similar sighting 10 days later, which I'll talk about, placed the absolute size as larger than a DC-4 airliner or greater than 100 feet in length. Which is huge. That's huge, right?
No. And there was a series of them?
Yes.
No, so he's not hallucinating.
No. Army Air Force analysts would later estimate 140 to 280 feet based on analysis of human visual acuity and other sighting details, right? So everybody's getting in on like how far away it was.
Yeah.
Arnold said the objects were grouped together. As Ted Blocher writes, quote, that Arnold said, quote, in a diagonally stepped down echelon formation stretched over a distance that he later calculated to be about 5 miles, end quote. Though they were moving on a more or less horizontal plane, Arnold said the objects weaved from side to side like the tail of a Chinese kite, darting through the valleys and around the smaller mountain peaks. So he's behind them for quite a while.
Yeah, and how are they moving that way?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're right? They're not moving as if like a plane.
No. If they're moving like a kite tail,
no way. They would occasionally flip or bank on their edges in unison as they turned or maneuvered, causing almost blindingly bright or mirror-like flashes of light. The encounter gave him an eerie feeling, but Arnold suspected he had seen test flights of a new U.S. military aircraft. So he keeps thinking it's military.
Yeah.
As the object passed Mount Rainier, Arnold turned his plane southward on a more or less parallel course. It was at this point that he opened his side window and began observing the objects unobstructed by any glass that might have produced reflections. According to Arnold, the object did not disappear and continued to move very rapidly southward, continuously moving forward of his position. Curious about their speed, he began to time their rate of passage. He said they moved from Mount Rainier to Mount Adams, where they faded from view a distance of about 50 miles in 1 minute and 42 seconds, according to the clock on his instrumental panel. 50 miles in a minute.
So, yeah, and it can't be then, like, what do they say, like a weather balloon?
No.
They're
Which is what they started blaming everything else on, right? When he later had time to do the calculation, the speed was about 1,700 miles per hour. This was about 3 times faster than any manned aircraft in 1947.
Wow.
When Arnold landed in Yakima, he described what he had seen to a number of pilot friends who suggested that maybe he had seen guided missiles or a new airplane being secretly developed by the United States Army.
This wasn't a missile.
After refueling, he continued on his way to an air show in Pendleton, Oregon. He was interviewed by reporters the next day on June 25th when he went to the office of the East Oregonian in Pendleton. Any skepticism the reporters might have harbored evaporated when they interviewed Arnold at length. As historian Mike Dash records, quote, Arnold had the makings of a reliable witness. He was a respected businessman, an experienced pilot, and seemed to be neither exaggerating what he had seen nor adding sensational details to his report.
And why would he?
Right.
Like, why would some random guy decide one day to tell this story?
Right. Yeah. He also gave the impression of being a careful observer. These details impressed the newspapermen who interviewed him and lent credibility to his report. Speaking to a reporter for the Associated Press, Arnold said, quote, "This whole thing has gotten out of hand. I want to talk to the FBI or someone. Half the people look at me as a combination of Einstein, Flash Gordon, and Screwball. I wonder what my wife back in Idaho thinks," end quote.
I love that quote.
Yeah, he's like, everybody's looking at me like I'm nuts. Okay, so here's what other people saw. So this is why, like, this shit is fucking real, bitch. It is real.
So
okay?
The people in
the same area, yeah,
okay,
not the flying disc craze that then begins, but this scenario,
this near the mountain,
absolutely.
Okay.
The Portland, Oregon Journal reported on July 4th receiving a letter from L.G. Bernier of Richland, Washington, 110 miles east of Mount Adams and 140 miles southeast of Mount Rainier. Bernier wrote that he saw 3 of the strange objects over Richland flying, quote, almost edgewise, end quote, toward Mount Rainier about 1/2 hour before Arnold.
Oh.
Okay, so remember Arnold's behind him. Bernier thought the 3 were part of a larger formation. He indicated they were traveling at a high speed. He said, quote, "I have seen a P-38 appear seemingly on one horizon and then gone to the opposite horizon in no time at all. But these discs certainly were traveling faster than any P-38. No doubt Mr. Arnold saw them just a few minutes or seconds later according to their speed," end quote.
Wow.
The previous day, Bernier had also spoken to his local newspaper, the Richland Washington Villager, and was among the first witnesses to suggest extraterrestrial origins. He said, quote, "I believe it may be a visitor from another planet."
No, he did not.
That's right.
You know the government.
He's right.
You know the government was like, "Oh my God,
They're
we
like,
gotta shut this
damn
down.
it, yeah.
We gotta shut this down."
We told these motherfuckers not to fly in this area at this time.
Because I'm thinking of like you know, like the stealth bomber and stuff like that, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they go really quick. You can't see it because you've seen that in like the air show, like how thin it looks, and like, but they didn't have that at this time.
No. It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
About 60 miles west-northwest of Richland in Yakima, Washington, a woman named Ethel Wheelhouse likewise reported citing several flying discs moving at fantastic speeds at around the same time as Arnold's sighting. When military intelligence began investigating Arnold's sighting in early July, they found yet another witness from the area. A member of the Washington State Forest Service who had been on fire watch at a tower in Diamond Gap, also 20 miles south of Yakima, reported seeing flashes at 3 p.m. on the 24th over Mount Rainier, or exactly the same time as Arnold's sighting, that appeared to move in a straight line.
This is freaky.
Dude. Similarly, at 3 p.m., Sidney B. Gallagher in Washington State, exact position was not specified, reported seeing 9 shiny discs flash up to the north. So she's like,
so these are people hearing before that report even comes out. People, so it's all. What do they say it is? Someone's got to come out and try to excuse it all away.
Other Seattle area newspapers also reported other sightings of flashing, rapidly moving unknown objects on the same day, but not the same time as Arnold's sighting. Most of these sightings were over Seattle or west of Seattle in the town of Bremerton, either that morning or at night. The primary, which by the way, they could still be flying around, right?
Yeah.
Like if they're in that area.
Yeah.
You know?
What are they here for, though?
What do you think?
I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever. I'd just like to find out.
Can they save us?
Yeah. No.
No. They're not friendly? I feel like they're friendly.
I mean, I'm at the point where it's like aliens or bust. Like, let's do aliens.
Because I feel like if they weren't friendly, like they would have already, it's been decades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been decades. They would have already taken us out.
Yeah, so they already know. Listen, they feel sorry for us. They see how dumb everybody is. They're just
or maybe,
maybe
they're just watching us like little creatures in a petri dish. You know
I think that's absolutely what it is.
Like they're observing us for their you know.
Yeah, I think that's what it
is.
There's
aliens like in college learning about like human behavior.
I just want to go to a planet where like
earthling behavior.
Like I want to go to a planet where like Giselle Bundchen is a dog. And I'm hot. Like, can that planet exist?
Oh my God, you're hot already.
Can that planet, Giselle Bundchen, ugh. Can that be a thing? Oh my God, I'm so loving this divorce drama between Bundchen and Tom Brady.
Oh my God.
And apparently when the Buccaneers lost last week, Tom Brady reportedly went into the locker room and was like, I left my wife and kids at home to come to this game. Like he was screaming about his divorce and like all shit. I was like, bitch.
Wait, isn't she the one that supposedly like put some voodoo, some witchcraft? I heard something like
that.
Was this the divorce?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I heard about like a celebrity divorce, and someone was like, "Yeah, she does witchcraft, and that's why like the games are losing or something."
Oh, that'd be so hot.
Yeah,
though.
no,
Maybe
I love it.
That would be hot.
It would be amazing.
Yeah, the primary. Fuck Tom Brady. Fuck
Yeah,
off,
who
Tom
cares?
Brady, bitch.
I mean,
Trump lover, by the way.
I know, and
Trump supporter.
I can't
Fuck you.
stand like
Fuck you.
idolizing sports people.
Me neither.
I don't know,
That's why I said
stupid.
I say cancel all sports.
Yeah, well, I mean,
What?
not all sports.
Did I tell you I'm taking my kids to see the U.S. women's soccer team play Germany?
Ooh,
Megan Rapinoe.
Nice.
Yes, I'm going to go see them. They're global, world-class athletes, award winners. All right. I know I said that wrong. What is it? The World Cup. They're World Cup winners.
Yeah. What did you say?
I said world-class.
Same thing. I didn't notice a difference. So I'm saying it's the same.
Thank you. She's such a good friend. I swear to God. The primary corroborative sighting, however, occurred. So this is the airline. Occurred 10 days later, July 4th, when a United States crew over Idaho en route to Seattle also spotted 5 to 9 disc-like shapes or objects that paced their plane for 10 to 15 minutes before suddenly disappearing. 10 to 15 minutes is a long fucking time.
No, that's creepy. I would be like, what is going on?
Yeah. Could you imagine having a phone and being able to record that out the airplane window? You know? Damn. So then we get into the aliens and like pushback, and then the media's like, please. But also, the media is run by the government, so cover up.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So what did they say? They're like hot air balloon. What is all their garbage that they're going to throw in
This is
here?
bullshit. On July 7th, 1947, 2 stories came out where Arnold raised the topic of possible extraterrestrial origins, but as his opinion and those who had written to him. That he has read things. In the Associated Press story, Arnold said he had received quantities of fan mail eager to help him solve the mystery, none of it calling him a screwball. Many of the writers...
I love that screwball. That must have been like such an insult back then. Because this is now the second time I think he's mentioned screwball. Don't call me a screwball.
I'm not a screwball. How dare you, son? Many of the writers, like a doomsday preacher Arnold spoke of, placed a religious interpretation on his sighting, but others, he said, quote, suggested the discs were visitations from another planet, end quote. Arnold added he had purchased a movie camera, which he would now take with him on every flight, hoping to obtain photographic proof
and it never
of what he had
again.
seen. No. In the other story, Arnold was interviewed by the Chicago Times, and it said, quote, Kenneth Lewis Arnold is not certain that the strange contraptions are made on this planet. Arnold said he hoped the devices were really the work of the U.S. Army, but he told the Times in a phone conversation, quote, if our government knows anything about these devices, the people should be told at once. A lot of people out here are very much disturbed. Some think these things may be from another planet, but they aren't harming anyone, and I think it would be wrong to shoot one of them down. Even if it can be done, their high speed would completely wreck them, end quote.
Wow. I mean, he does have a point. If it is the military, like, doing stuff, like, just clear the air. Just say, look, here it is. Show people and move on with it. What's with the mystery?
Because they probably foreign competition as far as, like,
please.
Oh, well, I don't know. You know, you got Russia breathing down your neck.
Oh, God. You're so full of it.
Tina's so upset. She really, just please tell me if this is something I need to be upset about.
I know. I need to be, I gotta organize. I gotta plan.
Well, we know you've got your zombie plan down.
Yes, I do.
That was a good plan for zombies. That was on our Patreon episode. Tina's already has an entire plan for zombies. I was like, she's like, what would you do? I was like, I'd get a hammer and get in my car. And she's like, this is where we would go. This is the food. This is where we're going to hang. And I was like, damn, I guess I'm going to find that place if I can get there. So, it also said, quote, Arnold, in pointing to the possibility of these discs being from another world, said, regardless of their origins, they apparently were traveling to some reachable destination. Oh. Whoever controlled them, he said, obviously wasn't trying to hurt anyone. He said discs were making turns so abruptly and rounding peaks that it would have been impossible for human pilots inside to have survived that pressure.
Ooh.
So he too thinks they are controlled from elsewhere, regardless of whether it's from Mars, Venus, or our own planet, end quote.
Oh, so remote control discs.
Maybe. But he's saying there's no way a human's doing that, you know? Right. In an Associated Press story from July 19th, Arnold reiterated his belief that if they weren't Army, they were definitely extraterrestrial. And it said, quote, the ex-University of Minnesota swimmer and footballer says he now believes, 1, the discs are not from any foreign country. 2, the Army could give the answer if it would. If they don't have the explanation now, they certainly could have do something to find out. And 3, if the Army has no explanation, this must be, and I know this sounds crazy, from another planet.
I mean, he's still being rational. He's like, here are the options. And again, like, Army, like clear the air.
Yeah. So in April 1949, in a skeptical article in the Saturday Evening Post titled, What you can believe about flying saucers, Arnold was likewise quoted saying, quote, "Since my first observations and report of the so-called flying discs, I have spent a great deal of money and time thoroughly investigating the subject." This is 2 years later.
Wow. Now it's an obsession.
Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind that these objects are aircraft of a strange design and material that is unknown to the civilization of this earth. And
so now 2 years later, he's singing a different tune. Now he's like, it is extraterrestrial.
Totally.
How much is he getting paid by the Saturday Evening Post to give commentary on aliens?
I don't know, but it's so good. So, of course, this sparked this craze, right?
Yeah.
This story comes out and everybody's like, what's that? Yeah. Like, there's something coming, something's coming for me. In the weeks that followed Arnold's June 1947 story, at least several hundred reports of similar sightings flooded in from the U.S. and around the world, most of which describe saucer-shaped objects.
And that's where we get it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we still have that today.
Yeah. The most famous UFO event during this period was the Roswell UFO incident that the alleged material recovered of a crashed flying disc, the story which broke on July 8th, 1947, which they said, of course, was a weather balloon.
Wait, I mean, July 8th.
It's right around the same time.
This is happening in June.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps from that.
Yeah.
And they supposedly have, like, a creature.
Yeah, they said there's a body.
Yeah. Well, some people say there's a body.
That's real. They're hiding the alien bodies from us. But here's the other thing that's great. I've never been to Roswell, but I'm dying to go because that entire town, because of this thing,
this is how they make their money, man.
It's taken over their whole identity as a town.
Go get a bumper sticker, keychain.
There's all these little shops. The McDonald's there is alien themed. They have like a museum where you can go and they have an alien body that they say is recreated from that body. Like everything is alien themed there. Everything. Walmart.
Wasn't there a show they called Roswell?
Yes. There was a really cute actor on there that I really loved.
I never really watched it, but I remember the name.
They just made a remake too.
Oh.
Yeah. That's hot teenage aliens. No, bitch, hold on.
I was like, wait.
We're almost there. To calm rising public concern, this and other cases were debunked by the military in succeeding days as mistaken sightings of weather balloons.
How fast does a weather balloon go, though?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we need. That's what I need to research.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Weather balloon speed and high wind. I mean, because he didn't say it was a high windy day.
No, he said mild wind. Just before the Roswell story came out, the Army, Air Forces in Washington issued a press statement saying that they had the matter under investigation and had described the flying discs definitely were not secret bacteriological weapons designed by some foreign power, any new type Army rockets or spaceships, end quote.
Oh. Well, how do they know?
That's all they ever said about it.
Yeah, it's just weather balloon. I mean...
Yeah. Now, let me tell you something.
The weather balloon theory's getting old.
P.S. When you become president... Like the next day or something, I don't know if it's that day, they take you into this little room and they tell you all the fucking secrets.
Can you imagine Trump knows? Trump has sold how many fucking secrets?
Yeah, but I think that I think they tell them about aliens.
I know, but why wouldn't Trump come out and say aliens? I'm waiting.
No, he's
he's so stupid.
He doesn't care.
Oh my God.
Well, he's so stupid. Hi,
Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
I know that's from a movie, but I don't know. Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I watched Beetlejuice this week. I gotta tell you.
Beetle orange.
Yeah,
Beetle drink. Beetlejuice.
But Catherine O'Hara is a fucking genius. She's a genius.
She is so funny.
Yeah. Can we all just keep it together just for the night?
My other favorite line in that movie is when they're dressed in the sheets and they're like, woo! Yeah. And then and Lydia is like, she's sleeping with Prince Valium tonight, so
But here's
because she wakes up and she's like, trying to shut the TV.
Here's the star of the show is fucking Michael Keaton. If you don't think Michael Keaton's a genius, Watch that Batman Schmatman.
Oh no.
Michael Keaton as
Beetlejuice
goes down in history as one of the greatest fucking performances.
Oh god, he's like farting, grabbing himself
ever. Yeah. But his voice, his movements, the way he dances, like everything is genius level acting.
It's so good.
It's so good. I can't even get over how fucking good it is. He's a genius.
And Otto, like I love that. I used to watch that movie.
It's so fucking good.
Many times. It's so good.
Oh, girl, I love it. Yeah, these are the kinds I saw. There was an Onion. The Onion. It was a great article, and it was like Dad shares music, 40-year-old music to his daughter to further keep her from like being in the culture of her friends. And I was like, yeah, that's the way you raise your kids.
Yes.
You show them Beetlejuice, Back to the Future,
yes.
the Smiths,
yes.
like the Rolling Stones. Don't let them listen to Taylor. Well, I don't know this new Taylor Swift album. Don't let them listen to this pop
whatever
shit.
They want.
No,
but
like that.
So my son, I come home the other day and he's like, yeah, I've been trying to teach myself. Because he does piano and he does, like the classical, like
he's a genius, by the way.
So he's just been fiddling around. Yeah. And yesterday I was sitting there and all of a sudden it was like dun 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 dun, and he's doing Lady Madonna.
Oh my god! Like
he taught himself the opening part, and he just kept going. Every 20, we were like watching Back to the Future, and then he would go to the piano and he would just be like trying to figure out the next part, come back.
He's got it in his head. He's like one of those genius musicians.
And I was like,
he's gonna be famous.
My God!
I hope he remembers his mommy's friend Hillary. Okay, when I'm struggling.
Yeah, but
throw me some Joe, please. Older
It was
boy.
just, I'm like, how do you?
No, he's a genius.
Just like with your ear, like try to figure this out.
He's got that talent.
And he's like, oh no, I looked at something online and kind of got an idea of how it should go, and then but he was just sitting there without anything.
Oh my god!
And then
it's incredible.
then to hear that that one part in that opening, I was like, wow,
so good.
I have no ability like that.
Yeah, and Beatles, it's amazing.
Oh yeah, he knows everything about the Beatles. Then he came home, and he's like, because he's like, I got a book, and I look at it, and it's like it's a book about Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh, for Pete's sake!
He's reading about Jimmy Hoffa and like the whole Jimmy Hoffa conspiracy. I'm like, okay, this is definitely my child.
Yeah.
Because who else is coming home with this book?
We know the mob didn't do it.
Yeah.
When there's nobody of Italian descent that's behind this thing.
Yeah, he's got the Goodfellas on his phone as his wallpaper.
Oh my god!
I was like, okay, I'm teaching him well, but it was so funny. And my husband's like, do you know what's on his phone? I was like, well, he's like, has he seen the movie? I'm like, well, yeah, we did.
Tina,
we did watch the movie.
Goodfellas.
Yeah,
Tina.
The best though was he watched it with me. And then he was with my parents, and he's like, let's watch Goodfellas, it's a good movie. And so my dad starts getting upset because there's all the cursing.
Oh,
and then
my God.
He's like, and then remember the scene where she's asking for the money? And he's like, I was running to the TV to try to shut it off because I didn't want Nella to see it. Oh my God, I was laughing.
Oh my God.
And then, my mother's like, I can't believe your mother let you watch that. And I was like, do.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not that bad.
The thing opens pretty violent.
I know, but he thought it was really funny. He's laughing at it. He was like,
dude, P.S. Kate's son, who was beautiful and adorable, I love him so much. He came over for my daughter's birthday, and in the car we were driving to Chuck E. Cheese for her 14th birthday, which was incredible.
I love that.
And he was telling me about all the movies he's been watching, and I'm like, I cannot believe. Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
original, geez.
Wild shit, wild. And I'm like, really?
I watched that at that age, though. We watched all those scary movies.
Listen, a lot of people did. I can't get into a scary movie.
Yeah.
I'm not here for it.
I'm too
scared.
Well, Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. I hope you get lots of drugs in your candy.
No drugs
my
in
favorite.
the candy. No.
My favorite.
No fentanyl in the candy, please.
No, not the children's candy, but our candy.
Yes.
Put my fentanyl strip on it.
Oh my God. It's so scary.
It's so fucked up. We live in the most crazy. That's what I'm saying. Just aliens, come on.
I know.
Just come on.
Help us.
We're dumb.
Or help us. Help us.
Yeah.
Can you help us?
We're just meat buckets standing here with trying to function. I get it. But can you just fucking come and help us? Please.
Oh my God.
I don't even want to talk about how the polls are showing Rubio and DeSantis ahead.
I don't.
Ahead.
I saw a
on?
Marco Rubio commercial yesterday, and I wanted to scream. It was like, all about.
It's all lies.
Oh, it was so.
It's fucked up.
It had like someone doing face painting, and it was like they're trying to indoctrinate our children, and like it was insane. It was insane.
Val Demings handed his ass to him the other night. I don't know if it was enough, but it was fucking beautiful. It was beautiful. He's a coward.
Oh my god,
coward piece of shit.
I'm stressed.
I fucking hate him.
All right, well, on that note.
Oh yeah.
Bye.